And we should be live. Let me go ahead and check. It says we're live, but are we actually live? Big mystery. Let's find out. Okay, it looks like we got a survey, so that's usually a good sign. And yes, I think we are in fact live. Awesome. All right, hello everyone. Ace here. Welcome to today's live stream. And today I am back with some more Fallout 2. So, last stream we ended up getting through some of the NCR quests, and while we were at it, we ended up also completing a few things to let us actually we ended up also getting the Gex, so we are in a good spot now. So today, and we also ground our way all the way up to level 33. Today we're probably going to try grinding our way the rest of the way to 36. That'll put us at over 200 unarmed, and then we'll also get the special perks and whatnot that get our, or do the special things that get our unarmed even higher. So we are in a pretty good spot as far as that's concerned. And we still have plenty of good gear here to work with. I probably should get more mentat, so I'll probably do that real quick. But one of the quests that people have suggested, and having looked into, I will in fact be doing, is the quest to actually get the car upgraded. To do that, we will be going to New Reno to get it stolen, so we can get it upgraded. So I'm going to buy some mentats. Yep. Okay. There should still be enough to be good regardless. He's got tons of money and some microfusion cells. We're going to not need those right yet. Let's see what we've... So yeah, we should have plenty of supplies and all that. But yeah, like I said, there's a couple of quests we can do while we're at it. I need to make sure I have the Gek, and probably a good idea to have that, just in case. We're going to take the car out for a drive to New Reno. If the game will let us. Now, this will also... Okay. Sure, I will fight you guys and get a whole bunch of loot back out of you. I'll just raise my AC up to a ridiculous degree. So when they try... Yeah, trying to hit me with melee is doable. Not the easiest for them. She went flying. Pretty sure I actually knocked them so far. Alright. She's dead. And so are you. Some grenades. What do they have? A plasma pistol. Nice. That's definitely going to be valuable. And a needler pistol. Okay. Trying to fix Skynet on myself. Oof. Alright. Alright, let's go ahead and actually return. Or do that. Yeah, I'll beat up the swarm of floaters. They're gonna charge it. Oh, how? Ouch. And he even poisoned me. I think that's quite literally the first time I've seen one of them actually do a poison attack. Oh well. Alright, move into position here. Even though it looked like he was actually in the same location, he wasn't. So, even though it looked like he wasn't in the same location, he was, sorry. They're still trying, but we already killed one of them, so it shouldn't be too bad. There's another one down. And he's dead. So that's half their number dealt with. Sure, I'll insta-kill him. Alright, did a lot of damage there. We just have to keep the pressure on, then they'll be good as dead. Actually, if I maneuver over here, might be able to knock him into the other one. Or do that. He's still alive after all those crits that he just got subjected to. But that's not going to last too much longer. And if I can now maneuver over here, we should be able to just keep him pinned while we... Yep. That works. All right. That's another 5,000 XP. So yeah, we're less than 10,000 XP away from leveling up again, from what it looks like, unless I'm mistaken. Just gonna let the poison burn itself out, trying to do anything to me. Yeah, we are... yeah, we are doing pretty good on the XP front. Neat. Alright, off to New Reno we are. God damn. Okay. He is going to steal the car. That is all part of the plan. Oh, look, the car is missing. All right, Mentats away. Well, we have successfully talked him into taking us where the car is, supposedly. Or so he says. This looks like it's not it, though. But let's find out. No, it is it. Okay. Alright. The battery. Spruce up the engine, clean out the interior logo to shine. Alright, does he have any... What's this? So yeah, he doesn't have a whole lot here. But now we have an upgraded car. It is the Chop Shop. Nice. Where are you in the fall, boy? Well, we just upgraded our car, so that's something. Let's make sure that the capacity has actually... Okay, he didn't take any of the stuff I had out. And we should be in business now. Alright, well, that was easier than I thought it was going to be. Now we can take the car all the way to Arroyo. To zoom away we go. Some wolves. Alright, well, we're good to go. Bless you. Thank you very much, Eric. Actually, I have been receiving some good news recently because I found out that... There we go. So I actually found out that someone managed to make a VR mod for Battlefield 1942. And yes, Battlefield 1918 works with it, apparently, so... They even showed off BF 1918 a little bit in the VR mod trailer, so...
The shadow of darkness arrived before you.
Oh.
Child of nature, how could we put such a burden on your shoulders? Your people have been taken. Yes, gone. Many dark souls came riding the metal birds like a flock of hungry chittick-bugs, hiding their evil in shiny skins.
Ooh, shiny purdy.
No, not shiny pretty. They kidnapped our people and took them to the southwest.
Will he barter with us? Yes, he will. But he doesn't have anything.
Yes, great sadness and pain. I stand between worlds to tell you, Chosen. Save your people. Chosen, please let my words touch you. Go southwest, south and west. Save our people. now my soul may join the eternal song. Safe journey chosen. Go.
Yep, he did. Alright. But yeah, there's a VR mod now for Battlefield 1942. Then I found out that the Ace Combat 6 decompilation project has now made it to 1.0, so you can now play Ace Combat 6 just straight onto a PC. And then I found out that the Vigilante 8 Unity project is in a few days going to be doing a big update. Apparently they're going to release a new update that, among other things, from what I've heard, they're going to actually add in the vehicles from Vigilante 8.1. So it's not just Second Offense, which is very nice. That should do. More battery for our car. Got some of the money that we have back. I'd say that's an absolute win. And now that I know I can safely store it here and that we've upgraded the car already, we're going to do a little bit of grinding. Should be plenty there. Ooh, actually, should probably sell the laser rifle. I might keep the rocket launcher just for the sake of it, but I'm definitely selling the laser rifles, so... And our money situation is going up back quite nicely. I'm going to be pouring in money before the end of it. So yeah, that's 3 things right there. And then I've been looking at... while I wait for the Steam frame to finally get released, I've been snagging the occasional game that's been on sale. There's been some good ones out there for sure, I think. VR games specifically, so I'll have plenty of stuff once it hits to actually look at. Band of Mercenaries, yes. But yeah, once the AC gets high enough and I get enough hit points, it should be... It's a lot of them in this group. Okay, but I can still take them. So that's 3 more of them down. So that leaves about half of them left. Yeah, I could take them. Do the usual trick. Okay, there are exactly 3 left now. One is even trying to run away. Unfortunately for you, I have the movement speed to actually cover that very easily. You're dead. You're dead. Alright, that's the entire band of mercenaries. They're dead. That's 3,200 XP. Not bad. And there is my loot. So many weapons and grenades and whatnot. I'm going to go ahead and sell these all off, of course. How are we doing on weight? Not even that. Well, we're close to full now, so we better go ahead and just go back and sell. I've also heard rumors, by the way, that because of the hardware behind the Steam Deck, in theory, there might be a way to actually get it to run Quest games if someone manages to find a way to get onto the Quest storefront. Which, yeah, basically it would run in I mean, from a pure performance standpoint, it'll naturally run Quest games better than the actual Quest would. But there's also there's also at least a few Quest exclusives that, actually. Oh, a press gang. Okay. Yes, please. So I did make a mistake to actually try driving. I didn't intend to do that. But since these guys are here, that's one dead. Ow. How are you doing it? Are the inmates well behaved? Yeah. I mean, so we've had a couple of them actually decide to be assholes recently and cause trouble. One of them's a 1096 case, or for those who don't know, mental inmate or mental case. In Max Block, and we had to do a shakedown recently in the Max Block. So what he did was, so we're doing the strip searches on these guys first to make sure they don't have anything on them when they are walked out of the block, so we can actually do the shakedown. So we have them all go into one of 2 different cells in the block that just so happened to be emptied at the time. And while we're doing this, we hear him in the background as he's the last one. He starts saying, "You leave me no choice, man. You leave me no choice." And what he then proceeds to do once he gets into that cell is soil the floor. So, you know. It's a bloody shocking. Yeah. You're a prison guard? That's bloody shocking. Yeah, yes I am. So he did that. There's more I could talk about, but you know, the state of his cell when we found it was when we did the search in there wasn't much better. I'll say that. Okay, these guys actually did a lot of damage to me. They also have a lot of loot. Expect a different course of action when someone starts talking like that. Yeah, he's done some other weird stuff that's... The other day, apparently, he got it in it that he was pregnant and going into labor, to put it... As in, I would be ready to defend myself. Well, yeah, but, yeah, like I said, the dude was 1096, so, you know. But it's also max block, so... We all kind of knew the guy's crazy in the first place. Alright. Back into Chinatown we go. Huh. Why is he in prison? Shouldn't he have been... he's in... Well, the crimes that he has committed are... Well, for one thing, as crazy as he is, some of it is him faking crazy to a certain degree. So he'll claim to basically pretend to be crazier than he actually is. Because the other inmates in there go, yeah, we talk to him all the time. He's not actually crazy. Or not actually that crazy, anyways. Now, there are guys in there that are actually were determined to be in such a state that it is more of a case of... But yeah, you have to remember there's a lot of guys in there that will pretend to be crazy. Because they think they can use that as a way to get sent out and sent into a mental facility. So... Okay, let's try. Actually, let's try this and see what happens. I screwed up. Okay. Let's try another 20. And there we go. And why not let him out into a mental facility? Well, truth be told, not that you are mentioning it, they are building a brand new mental facility from what I've seen. But yeah, if they're faking it, then that just means they're trying to get out of prison and into the mental facility. And there are a lot of people that fake it. And you have to remember, actually, almost did it again. You have to remember a lot of people that are... You have to remember that there is a very finite amount of resources, so it is kind of important to actually determine, oh, this guy actually should be in a prison rather than a mental facility. If land in one for those criminal offenses, it won't be a pleasant experience at all. Correct. But still, you have to remember that when you're dealing with finite resources and whatnot, you have to basically pick and choose, be more picky about who goes to the mental facility. It's not you can't let everyone in there. You have to be picky about letting specifically ones that you know are legitimately crazy in there. But it does also mean that you end up with a lot of cases of people that are legitimate mental cases just having to stay with us instead. And then we make do as best we can. So, more free XP and loot. mean, I've recouped all the money I spent and then some in this stream, so we're good for the most part. Willing to shit to convince others you're crazy, I still would say you're pretty far out there. Desperate would be another way to put it, too. Like, we had a guy trying to fake insanity by soiling one of the tables and then proceeding to, well, eat from the substance that he soiled on there. And he openly, and I've caught him on the intercom openly admitting, yeah, I'm just trying to make myself look insane so they take me out of here. So it's not the worst I've seen someone do to try to fake it, is what I'm getting at. Some have to be too much of a hassle. No, get them pilled up and stuff on a bed somewhere. Well, see, you would think that. Here's the thing, right? So, when it comes to governments, especially, when it comes to prisons, including a federal or including a government-run facility like ours, they actually you could argue that even government-run prisons are a for-profit situation, in which is to say that they get paid from federal money that go. So basically, if it's run by more local government or something like a state level or something, they actually get paid by the federal government for the number of inmates that they house. So there is an incentive to try to, well, make sure everything is run in such a way as to turn a profit and what have you. So he was admitting to it to someone. So the intercom. So the rooms, the cells that these guys are in, you can actually listen in to them because they are, in fact, bugged. This is for safety purposes as well, because you'll occasionally listen in and you'll go, oh shit, there's a fight going on in here. We have to deal with this right now. But you'll also see, we also check, oh, these guys are smoking stuff and stuff like that too. But it's also, oh, we're having a medical emergency, and that's the way for them to let us know. So they have a little button to hit it, but we can listen in if we want. And asylums are not. I mean, they can be. They also tend to be... there's a little bit more government bureaucracy at play. Because you're talking about who exactly runs a specific facility. So, if it's, say, a more local facility or something, like a county-level prison, or say the prison is run by a local county rather than the state, well, if the county takes the inmates, then the county gets the government money that way. So, it's sound only, I take. It is for the most part. If you're dealing with people that are in seg, those as a safety measure, because those are people that legitimately might harm themselves and might not necessarily tell you. So those are, in fact, those do in fact have cameras. They do have little black bars where the necessities are, so for their privacy, but that's it. And then you have the pad cells, which, well, if you're in a pad cell in there, you basically just get a little yellow or green suicide blanket, and that's it. The bathroom, you don't even have... basically, the bathroom is a separate room that you actually have to call officers to request to be able to get into. Again, because of your own safety, because you're that much of a threat to your own person at that point. So it's like a competition inside the government for the funds? Yeah. Yeah, a little bit. Like, if I remember correctly, you get a couple of bucks. It's a per dollar for thing, or per several amounts of dollars per, say, a federal inmate that a facility takes on. So facilities will naturally try to take on federal inmates when possible. But if you ask, but the real moneymaker for the prisons, though, tends to be, from what I've seen, the commissary. So it's not just merely housing them. So basically what happens is, I kid you not, these guys will actually trick. These guys will basically just go out of their way to trick their relatives and women that they know and whatnot to send them as much money as possible to buy commissary, which they get on a premium, which costs a lot of money to actually buy commissary, for the record. The prices are ridiculously inflated, but the facility gets a cut of that. So basically, the government leeches off of the people on welfare, basically. But because it's more local facilities, so basically it's a roundabout way for local. So the money goes from federal aid to the people that are giving, basically putting money on the books for the commissary, and then that goes to the local facilities that way too. Which is why you will actually see there are actually prisons that offer. There's prisons that, I kid you not, offer for sale on commissary special prison purpose Xbox and PlayStation and even VR headsets. There are actual there's a company that sells VR headsets specifically for inmates in prison to buy on commissary. Government leeching people who are on welfare, that is government help, seems like an Ouroboros situation. It is! Except, like I said, the trick here is you're not dealing with... You should make a scripted video about it. Very interesting topic. An interesting idea, yeah. But yeah, it's just... Okay. But like I said, though, the key here is that you have multiple layers of government, and they all have their own various funding and what have you. So... Alright, he's dead. But yeah, like, even though our facility doesn't offer the Xbox or PlayStation or VR or whatever, we still have tablets that the inmates do get issued. And there's been a big problem recently with them jailbreaking the tablets to contact... Basically, to get on to places like Facebook, Messenger. Instagram's the real one that they really like to use a lot from what I've seen. They'll try talking with the other blocks that way to traffic shit from point A to point B. They will watch random stuff online. I know for a fact that there are inmates that actually occasionally watch some of my content now that they have found out that I have a YouTube channel. But the big problem is there's guys in there that'll also do stuff like contact their victims with the tablets. Okay, if you can die there, that would be very lovely. He is still alive. But yeah, when it comes to wild stories in there, I know I've got a couple of stories of stuff that I've seen inmates do. I know that one of the officers that's actually been a vet for a few years from other facilities, including a particularly rough one, has some really, really interesting stories about things he's seen inmates do to themselves, basically. And I know there's guys that have been at my own facility longer than I have that have seen some stuff as well, so... Geez, you'd think that if they get to have electronics that can be online, they wouldn't be monitored by you guys 24/7. I mean, they still kind of have to be out of necessity, though, for the various things. One, because of guys that'll get into fights and whatnot, and just... That's a safety thing right there, of course. Guys that are... not in the best space, mentally speaking. So, you know. We actually had a really wild thing happen a few weeks ago, now that I think about it, where for a while the lights actually, for a few hours, the lights went out. And the cameras were still working because we have multiple because not only do we have the regular power lines to rely on, but we also have multiple generators to rely on if things get hairy. Backups on top of backups. But we were down to our down to the backup generator for the backup generator, basically, and it got to the point that the lights failed. But fortunately, the cameras were still working and the doors were still working. But we had to lock the inmates down, and one of them decided that they were going to tell the bunkies to go lock down in a separate cell, and then they tried to, well, self-delete, but we actually were doing watches like we're supposed to and caught them in the act and was able to put a stop to it. Then we put them on the feel-good bench to keep an eye on them for, like I said, their own safety. It was a good way, mentally speaking. You'd be surprised. Because some people actually... There's some people that do actually legitimately want to be there. Because if you're homeless or something, you look at it and you go... there's guys that are homeless and will deliberately commit crimes to end up in there. So they can get the housing, the food, the health care, and all that. Very sad. It is what it is. It's just... There have been a couple of attempts, but we've been pretty good at putting a stop to it, of course. Well, if you want to be in, there's something wrong with you, though. Yeah. I would say you're not entirely wrong. But then again, when it starts to get, say, 30 or 40 below and you don't have a place to stay, I can understand why there are guys out there that'll actually... we had one guy that ended up in there because he basically because he wanted to be in there, he made a 911 call claiming that he was going to basically making terroristic threats just so he could be put in there. People talking about weight loss. Yeah, it would actually work, I suppose. Well, so the trays do actually... They do have certain requirements for the trays to make sure that they are getting the amount that they need to live on. If you're actually underweight, they will actually issue out double trays to make sure that you actually are still... are in a healthy weight level, but then you get weighed constantly, and once your body mass index is high, once you weigh enough, basically, then you lose the double trays. As for the food itself, let's go ahead and actually beat this guy up. Oh, we'll beat this guy up then. Oh! We'll walk over here then. You're probably not going to be losing as much weight as you might think, because you have to remember, in a facility like that, you basically get to, in our facility at least, it's basically the day room that you get to stay in out when you're out of the cells, so. Okay, so he's down. Move over here. Try sending this guy over this way. Let's hit them here. Okay, so he's dead. And he's dead. Let's see how we're doing for XP. We're a little over 14,000, so we're in a decent spot. So something I've actually been put in charge of over there is actually a certain element of the trays. And it's specifically the kosher trays, because we have a lot of guys that will actually pretend to need kosher for religious purposes. It's not actually... there are also the occasional guy There is maybe one or two guys that might legitimately be kosher, but the overwhelming majority of guys that do that just aren't actually kosher and are just wanting to get the kosher tray. Thing is, the kosher tray is not cheap at all to supply or maintain. The meat pouch that they get with these things is $7 a piece, at least for the meat pouch. And that is... and you have to remember they're getting 3 of those a day, so that turns into $21 just for the meat pouch. Now, that might not sound that expensive. It is, though, when you compare it to the regular trays. They're still getting with a regular tray, they're still getting a pretty sizable meal, too. But it is a very cheaply supplied meal at the end of the day. You're looking at maybe $1 to $3 per regular tray, basically. So a factor of, even if you looked at just the meat pouch, that's a factor of 7 times the cost. Up to 7 times the cost per tray. Even if you don't look at it that way, it's still at least over twice the cost. That's roughly the cost of a meal restaurant here. Yes, this is true. Like I said, it's not that much, but it adds up. So when you have people that are deliberately, well, scamming the system by pretending to be that, by pretending to need kosher when they don't, in order to get that much more of an expensive tray, and they either are going around eating the non-kosher stuff or trading away their stuff for non-kosher stuff, that ends up costing the taxpayer a lot of extra money that does not need to be cost. So they actually put me in charge of running authorizing kosher trays for people, and also in charge of looking at kosher violations. Because, yeah, you might say that's $21 per inmate. So, yeah, that's true. Let's say it's $1 per tray or something, like for a regular tray or something. So you're looking at a loss of $18, basically, per inmate per day. If you have, say, 10 inmates that are kosher, that's $180 per day that the taxpayer has to deal with. You have to deal with it for, say, 365 days, 180 times 365, and that gives you the yearly cost of just 10 people wanting to be on kosher that don't actually need to be kosher. Need to be on it because they're not actually kosher. Eric says, criminal Jews, I don't believe that such a thing exists. Well, I've met a few of them, so I know there's at least a few that do actually exist. But, yeah, like I said, there's the occasional guy that's actually kosher. And you know what? If they're actually kosher, then fair enough. But like I said, the guys that are pretending to be and are just doing it to get a fancier tray to scam the government out of taxpayer money to get that fancier tray. Vote or not? I do, in fact, vote, but don't tell me why they're in there. I will take a guess. Tax fraud. Well, I don't think that's the reason why. I forget what I think there's 2 guys in there that are... I forget what one of them was in there for, but I know what the other one is in there for, and you're not going to like the charge. Is it still the same amount of food on the kosher tray as on the normal tray? Yeah, pretty much. But the components that they get are different, and because one thing, the trays themselves have to be special one-time use styrofoam trays rather than, you know, a regular cafeteria style tray. So that immediately causes the price to go up there because you don't have the... But yeah, it goes up for that reason because those trays are not reusable at that point. The meat pouches, well, they're little plastic meat pouches, again, that are completely sealed, and you have to heat them up in steaming water, from what I've seen, typically, is how we do it. A lot of other requirements. They get all other stuff, too, like they get certain components that they get are stuff that's... Well, for one thing, some of the components, it is actually very easy to make hooch out of. Was it an anti-Polish crime? No, it was a crime involving footage and kids. So, apparently the guy was actually... From what I've been told, the guy was a distributor of this shit, so... Makes sense. But yeah, so there's guys that'll go on there just to get the ingredients to make hooch. Something I've seen. They also get the little special kosher cookies that are, again, a highly sought after trade item, along with the meat pouch. In fact, I've actually got... Oh no, yeah, oh no is right. I've actually got, I actually keep some of the violations that or kosher violations that I've personally caught these guys doing. One of the guys, I kid you not, to try to hide it, what he did was, he was giving away his meat pouch, but to do that, he was in the dorm part of the facility. In the dorm, you have a chest-high wall, basically, where the bathroom area is. And it's to obscure it from cameras. So it's there to obscure that. Well, what he was doing was, he would take the meat pouch out of his kosher tray, because the tray is completely enclosed. So you open up the little kosher tray, he took the meat pouch out, then he would go into the bathroom, set the meat pouch onto the toilet, pretend like he's using the restroom, then the guy that was waiting just outside would walk in, go to the same toilet, snatch the meat pouch from the toilet, he would then stuff it into his pants, walk over to his bunk and hide it under his bunk. So, I saw them doing this. We had an officer go in, and the guy that was going to get it from the guy that had it hidden under his bunk just handed it to us, and there's your kosher violation. Eric says, kosher violation. Imagine an Oblivion guard running up and shouting, "Stop, you are in violation of the Torah." Quite unironically, yes. But just imagine how desperate they're getting now to actually pass out their kosher meat pouch that they're hiding it on top of a fucking toilet for the guy to actually then stuff it into his pants and then hide it under his nasty bunk just so he can taste that sweet, sweet kosher meat pouch food. That's weird. Correct, but that's what they're doing. Guy knew better than to pretend not to know why you were in there. Yeah, pretty much. Kosher pants, duh. One of the things that they've been on a kick recently about is to try to request no meat diet for some reason. Is another thing too, so... There's a guy trying to claim to be Buddhist that wanted a no meat diet. So, he got it, but then found out that it was... He basically was stuck eating nothing but beans because, well, what the hell are we going to supply him but beans to give him the protein? So he actually wanted off of there specifically because he found out he was going... Specifically because he found out the hard way he was going to end up eating nothing but beans for his stay, so... I actually reached out... No, it wasn't in his pants at that point. He was hiding it under his bunk. What he did was he stuffed it into his pants to transport it from the toilet to the bunk, just so he wouldn't see it on the camera. They're probably just scheming to get fruit to make brews. Yeah, that's one thing that they do. That is one thing that they do. But there's the other stuff, like the meat pouches seem to be a highly sought after item for guys. The kosher cookies are another really highly sought after item. Even some of the condiments, the kosher condiments that they get are sought after, and you'll see them try hoarding them, which is also a violation. I get it, dude. Okay, that's fair. Alright, we'll let these guys attack us like normal. Well, I guess the kosher stuff is so sought after because it gives some variety to their diet. It could be a part of that. It could also be, again, well, what you have is rare, therefore it's more valuable because of it. Or in some cases, these guys are legitimately just making hooch out of it. Doing something messed up. I get it, dude. I was making a dirty joke. Okay, so... I actually got one I got a story for you that I think would fit the mold. Actually, one of the first times I actually caught someone on hiding something in a pat down was a dude I was taking back to the max block. And this guy he's an old guy, but he's in max, so it's whatever. But I guess he had just had to be walked over to court or something, if I remember correctly. Or just came back from court because they get appeals and shit like that. So I do the pat down, just as we're about to walk him in, get him into the block, and as I'm going up the leg, I notice something weird. Something distinctly plasticky in between his legs. I go, "What the hell is that?" He says, "Well, that's just my bag." No, that ain't no bag, bro. Get that, whatever it is, get it out. Bro, the guy stuck an entire soap dispenser in between his legs. Apparently, someone let him walk into a bathroom unintended, and he just saw a soap dispenser on the wall and took it off the wall and tried to hide it and smuggle it into his cell. It was such a funny situation that I actually didn't give him a write-up. Everyone had a good laugh about it, and that was the end of it. Guy never really gave me much problems, but I do know for a fact E-pouch just stored, distributed inside pants. Wasn't expecting so. Yeah, it's because of my line of work. Keep it up, lol. But yeah. But yeah, that's and that is a lesson of why we have pat downs in there. Play on speakers the sound of soap dropping on the floor. We could, well, that'd be an interesting one, but I don't think that would be the funny, or, see, I think the appropriate thing would be, there's plenty of ways to mess with inmates, for the record, and sometimes it's when they talk smack and didn't think something through, right? And they'll get kind of descriptive and graphic about the stuff they'll talk smack about. Like, we had this one guy that was talking smack to me, so I talk smack back by just making the, you know, the bog standard your mom jokes. And then he said something about witnessing it. I said, bro, what? You just confess, and it's, bro, you just confessed to watching your mom and shit like that. The whole block started laughing at him as a direct result, which, understandable reaction. Because dude said something he probably shouldn't have to try to talk smack back. And after a little bit of it, after that, we're doing hot water pass right after that, and bro walks up and he says, all right, man, let me tell you something. No, never mind. Because he knew he couldn't walk his way out of that one. Someone watched too much Game of Thrones? I don't know. No, I think it's more a case of he did not think it through. But if you ask me, the key to it when it comes to talking smack to them is to be creative as part of it. If you give them the box standard stuff, it ain't... Well, you might get the occasional chuckle, but to really master the art of talking smack in there, getting creative is a part of it. Like, we had one guy that liked to talk smack to us back and forth. Now, this guy basically has a bunch of scars under his lip. Really distinguishable and easily noticeable. So he starts talking smack to me one day, and I just said, bro, you look like if Heath Ledger's Joker tried to grow a mustache. And that got the from the crowd that was watching. Alright, he's dead. Now it is your turn. Serious question. What would you do if you got Chris Chan to watch over? Second serious question. Would you accept a... So, we actually have a strict policy of not accepting gifts from inmates, so I wouldn't be able to accept that. Sonic, Chris Chan would probably be a spicy one to deal with, let's be brutally honest. I actually had to deal with a progressive in there at one point. I didn't know you had a comedy routine, because maybe it's not that bad of a place afterwards. Yeah, having a sense of humor really does benefit working, is to your benefit working in there, because... Well, there's a saying about laughter being a coping mechanism, and there's probably some truth to that. Because some of the wild stuff you see in there, it really does help to actually be able to make light of it. If I remember correctly, for example, we had one guy that was shoving a pencil. We've actually had a couple of guys that did this, that were shoving pencils up the front, is the best way for me to describe it that's YouTube friendly. Not the rear, but the front specifically. And so the guy could get sent out to hospital so he could get treated for that and then come back. But he does this, and then after that, while he's in Seg Cell, and after that, when he finally manages to make his way back into Gen Pop, watch the Game of Thrones, but I watched Breaking Bad. Oh God, not sounding. Yeah. So yeah, term is sounding. If you say that, I've never heard that term be used, but okay. But yeah, he was doing that to himself. So afterwards, when he gets put into Gen Pop and we're doing medication pass, I'm there with the nurse at the time. So he comes up to us and asks for ointment, says he's still healing. Then he follows it up by saying, I don't believe I had it in my... I can't believe I had it in me to do that to myself. And I said, and being the smartass that I am, I said to him back, oh yeah, I heard about that. I heard that was part of your gang initiation. He goes, what? And I said, yeah, I heard you did that because you wanted to join the Peckerwoods. And he got a good kick out of that. And so the nurse, everyone actually got a good laugh out of that, so... But there's a couple of long-standing jokes that I also give out. The old classics that I think a lot of people that have been in there have heard me say. That's something out of a sitcom lol. So one of the jokes that I have been known to say to inmates is that I work in customer disservice. We're not satisfied till you're not satisfied. Fun time was had by all camera shifts to anthropomorphic pencil with 1,000-yard stare. Yep, fair. But yeah, that's been a trend that at least a few of them have done that exact specific thing, sadly. Alright, that should remove his ability to run for much. Alright. You won't believe this insane viral prison show. Oh god, I could legitimately see that. So one of the other jokes, though, I do tell them every now and then as a laugh is, okay, they're running away, but I can knock this guy out of the fight pretty easily. One of the other jokes is, to guys that are getting released specifically, I'll tell them, don't forget, rate us 5 stars on the review, and add the line, "We'll repeat." So it looks like these guys aren't able to run very fast, so we're in business. Alright, this one looks stunned. We'll just be able to yeet this one into the afterlife easily enough. Good. And he's dead. How close are we to leveling up again? Still a little over 20,000, but hey, that's fine. And we are at over 200 in unarmed now, so we're in a really good place. Use code "will repeat" to get 25% off your next sentence. Okay, that was a pretty good... Alright, we'll get these guys to... Oh, he's actually going to continue charging at me. That's fine. Did you ever play Fallout 2 online? I don't know if it still exists, but I remember playing it like 10 years ago. Some guys modded the game so it could be multiple. I haven't played it that way, admittedly. To be fair, right? I mainly am a single player kind of guy myself. Even when it comes to multiplayer focused games, I mainly try to play the single player portion myself, I will admit. So, since the humor also helps you not look weak to the inmates, men use jokes to test one another. After all, you do not want inmates to view you as weak. Correct. Fallout New Vegas online version, but I didn't play. Okay. Okay, we got him too. That's another 3,200. So that puts us under the 20,000 XP mark. Nice. I think once we make it to level 36, that'll be our calling point. Should be enough XP to easily... So far, though, the game is not rewarding us with very many particularly fantastic random encounters. Let's pin this guy into a corner. He missed. Boom. Beat storytelling in single-player games, at least for me, one of the best traits I can find. Yep, fair point. So that was only 750 XP. Whatever. I guess we killed so many of them that we are actually running out of enemies in this area. Like, we've depopulated all of the random encounters. Here we go. A cave and floaters combined. I like it. So that is a good chunk of them right there dead. Speaking of single-player games, did you hear Terraria Calamity Mods? I have not. I have not actually heard about that. So actually thinking of making today's video, if I do one, be about the Battlefield 1942 VR mod. Because, you know. If you like isometric turn-based strategy games with RPG elements like this, you should try Jagged Alliance 2. Its peak and save scumming on modern software is super fast. Okay, interesting. I know there's a couple other games that get a similar reputation to it. Like the 762 games, from what I've heard anyways. So that puts us... hopefully if this cave has something good in it, we can get within the 10,000 XP mark. We'll see. What do we got this time? Okay, these guys. Well, I skipped out on fighting a horde like this last time, so this stream I will actually go through it. Might as well. But hey, if we get ourselves a couple thousand XP out of this, like I said, it'll get us closer to our goal. And with the next perk, what do I even want to take for the next perk? Maybe the awareness one that gives us the exact amount of HP that we have to worry about on enemies. Probably be a useful one to take, to be honest. Alright, so a significant chunk of the Horde is aware of us, but not all of them. Okay, that's another one of these guys down. Still a significant chunk of Horde there. Still some over there. Looks like most of the ones there are at least aggroed, and definitely all these guys are, so. Calamity mod is now dead, as it now happened in a second time. Several of the mods were in a Discord with self-admitted underage people, and we're discussing. Oh, God. See, the similar story I heard about was one of the devs for Tactical Assault VR getting caught, but he's also, from what I heard, that guy is actually getting removed from the team as a direct result, and it's for past convictions in that case, if I remember correctly. You have nice things for long. Alright, that's a good chunk of them there dealt with. His lead dead, who got elected after the old lead, supposed for some time, was not only second-hand man, but also got elected by the community as the new lead. So, yeah, okay. They actually managed to knock me off my feet. Okay, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. No, 5 actually, from what I'm seeing, because that one's dead over there. So that, yeah, that's 5 that are actively in a fight with me, and then you've got is he dead? Yes. And that's that group dealt with, mostly. Why do you choose an unarmed run? Because it's actually a lot of fun. You can do a lot of broken shit with it. Because for right now, because I have the Slayer perk, every single hit that I land is a guaranteed crit. And you get a ridiculous number of moves per turn as well. And with the improved crits, I'm basically guaranteed to get at least... with the better crits, not only are my crits guaranteed to do more damage, and not only am I guaranteed to get them, and not only am I more likely to... Not only do I get more moves per turn, but each one of them even has a chance to just insta-kill stuff. Even if it does 0 damage, it's still an insta-kill in that case. I love how it says that you're critically hit for no damage, and that a bruise and scar will look nice. Yes. So, there's that on top of not having to worry about ammo or stuff like that. There's a lot of things that make unarmed actually pretty effective in this. Might even be potentially outright busted, because I'm not even using a party on this, and I'm using a low intelligence character on top of all that. So this will probably be another 1,000 or so XP right here, and we still have that group up there to deal with. Alright, he's dead. Oh, another one's been aggroed. Okay. It's emotional damage. Yes, it is. Okay, it looks like the rest of them have actually been aggroed now. So yeah, that'll be this entire cave cleared out. NPCs' conversations with 1 intelligence are very good. Yeah, you can get them as long as you have at no more than 3 intelligence. Once you get 4 intelligence, that's when you get the regular dialogue, so... But the other news is, with Mentats, you can get your intelligence up to have the regular conversations as well if you really need them. Okay, that's that. Looks like there is exactly one that's not aggroed. Okay. See, for those, I don't think we actually had enough did enough damage to actually insta-kill these two. I think we just got lucky on the rolls. There's another 2,000 XP, so... Yeah, with this one, we might be within 7,500 XP for leveling up again, which, yeah, that's basically 2 more really good fights, more or less. Alright, with them all dealt with, how is our health pool looking? We're actually getting real close to having at least 300 hit points, which is really, really good. Okay, but I'm a bit confused. I arrived late to the stream, so I didn't know what is your plan now. Is it just temporarily? Well, it's to do that for this stream, and then I guess the next stream we'll finally do all this stuff that improves our unarmed. It gives us free 25 points in that. And then we'll just finish the game from there. Because we've got the GEC. We are good to go into the in-game area, basically. Once we finish the quests for the oil tanker. So... Then from there, it's a fight with Frank Horrigan, and a win, hopefully. Okay, we actually... Once again, victim of our own success, knocking him out so hard that he actually flies off. But not for long. Another 250 points. So yeah, that puts us at only a little over 5,500 basically. A little over that before we are good. So that puts us into the territory of potentially one more fight. That one was a pretty crap roll for random encounters, I'll be admit. This one, though, especially this one, should be pretty good. The cave is probably going to be enough to put us over. I'll take the awareness thing so we can actually see exactly how much health everyone has. But yeah, we'll be able to basically one-shot a ridiculous number of these. Or get lucky on these guys. Keep in mind, every single hit that lands has a chance to insta-kill. We don't need to get lucky all the time, we just need to get lucky once. And another one of our perks, since we're unarmed, actually increases our AC depending on our unarmed skill, which we have at over 200. Maybe I should actually just do some of the other stuff real quick to actually improve my stats. So yeah, you see there a couple of them were just insta-killed that shouldn't have been, but because of how good our crits have the chance to be, it does that. And now, yeah, we're less than 1,000 XP away. And this should put us at 202 unarmed. Death claws, but these are lesser death claws, so even the large ones that you see are lesser death claws as well, so they're not going to be that much of a threat. They are charging me. Now, if I really wanted to, I could just not move, which the AP actually turns into additional AC when I don't use it. And it is so high now that... There we go. My Euro, I don't know what AC is. Fair? Okay. That leaves just 2. They're both willing to charge me. Perfect. So yeah, these are definitely going to get me surely over the over the mark and get me level 36. Oh, I was making a joke. All right. Boom. So yeah, awareness. What does Dodger do? From any... okay, so this actually just improves our AC even higher. I mean, 5 additional AC is not a joke. I will take that, actually. Portugal, we had 30-minute temperature decrease with a solar eclipse. Ooh. So yeah, I'm actually going to head back. We're going to do a couple of things to improve our stats. If I remember correctly, we can get unarmed training from a guy. What do we have here? Oh, the Cafe of Broken Dreams. It was so stupid that, get this, he thinks that the shotgun ammo is the water ship. He takes it back to the overseas. Run for a while, but gets old quick. There's only so much killing before you get jaded. Black-haired strumpet instead of all. Too much animation, too many frames. So many saves and reloads. See, give me a combat. So yeah, these are former player characters, I guess. I'll save here, and we'll continue. Another random location discovered. We're up to 290 hit points, by the way, for those keeping track. You can get a module that increases your strength special. I think it's in Volt 8. Yes, I already have that, though. I already have that, which is why I'm already at max strength, even without the armor. So yeah, we're going to go to Klamath, I guess. We'll also go to the Sierra Army Depot, because that's another place that will give us free unarmed. And then I think we can get the training. I think we can get training from here. That'll boost us even further, if I remember correctly. Do I have any... Yes, I do. Time to sell some of that loot. Now, if we have any books of science or something like that, we're definitely going to be buying those very quickly. Mentats. Big book of science. Yoink. Well, yeah. All right, let's try. Boom. And done. See. So, what is our science up to now? 77. Not bad. It's not as high as, say, repair, but unarmed is definitely, like I said, the guns is pretty good. Outdoorsman, we've maxed out. First aid, I think we've pretty much maxed that one out too, so. Technically, I could invest these points into... Alright. Let's use the punching bags at the Sierra Army Depot. Okay, fine. Well, I've got the supplies, so we're good. Have you ever heard of Eltingville Club? I don't know what that is. Oh yeah, there was something else we could get. I forget where, though. There's a guy that sells a part that I can get, I think, in... I forget where, but we can get that too. But first we'll go to the Sierra Army Depot. But there's a guy that sells a part for our... There's a guy that sells a part for our car that we can use to get it to actually travel even faster. And we might as well. Or Dog Meat is a comic series and a pilot. Okay. Ah, here it is, actually. So we're going to go into here, see if we can actually do anything with this. And it should improve our stats. It's an extra 10% free unarmed. Actually, it's an extra 8%, I guess. But still, whatever. It's still good. Still boosts us up to 210%. We can get another 2% or 10% from training, and then we can get another 5% from the new Reno boxing, if I remember correctly. So, but yeah, improving our stats even more like that is going to be... Let's see what it improves it to now. 86 if we don't move. But if we do move, how much is that? $62, even if we do move. That's very good. And we can improve it even further. Off to Klamath we go. Actually, we've not been to Reading, so we might as well stop in just to say we've been there. Boom, we've been there. So now we have that on the map too. Alright. Let me use my skills here to actually... I'm going to use this to improve my intelligence just high enough to participate in this and get the free unarmed points. Because he should give me an extra 10 or something, which will be very nice. And there we have it. An extra free 10 points to the unarmed. So we are now at 220. Since you can insta-kill, it's possible to kill Frank on the first punch. Potentially. Yes, it is technically possible to one-shot Frank Horrigan, I think. So let's see. 63 AC. Pretty good. And this might actually bump us up to... Or the... Going to New Reno might actually be able to bump us up to... 25 with... Or 64. Okay, pack rat, scorpions, no. We'll actually skip that, because we've already ground out what we need. Now, I just need to figure out where exactly this is to do the boxing. To get into the ring. Once I do, though... I don't know if that's awesome or anticlimactic. You might even argue it's both. The ring, you know, in the ring. Uh-huh. Yep. It's done deal. Name Stuart. Most call me Stuart Little. God, I see what you did there. All you need is I'm big in all important ways. You got a name, Matt said? Me Big Stew. Round one. Boys and girls. Okay. Think of EDP. I don't know. It's brought to you by Rotgut. Okay. When you absolutely have to have something, choose Rotgut. Okay. Weighing in at 194 pounds, fresh from the wasteland and new to New Reno. 108 pounds, you know him, you love him, Jock. Bro looks a little bit more than 184 pounds. Without further ado, let's get ready to beat some ass. Yeah, someone's gonna get... Yeah, this is gonna be interesting. I can already walk over there and just casually punch him in the face. Okay. We killed the boxer. And the winner is... by means of knockout. Yeah, we'll go with that. For the next map. Can't believe they'd might use your power armor for this. I don't need it though. Brought to you by Gamma Gulp Beer. Okay. When your skin's lacking that special glow, choose Gamma Gulp Beer. Okay. Well, at least after the apocalypse, both be able to make a comeback. Mick McNeely, 177 pounds. Oh, this is gonna be brutal. Without further ado, let's get ready to beat some ass. Yes, let's. We instantly knocked his ass out with one punch. What punch? The winner is... by means of knockout. Round 1. Ladies and gentlemen. I love how we're running out of dudes to kick asses with. Or brought to you by the cat's paw. Need that itch you need. When you got that itch you need to scratch, head to the cat's paw. Warner, you know him, you love him, Evan Holyfield. Without further ado, ready to beat some ass. He actually moved first. Oh shit, I killed him again by accident. I didn't mean to. Winner is... by means of knockout. Again, we'll go with that. Yes, he was totally knocked out, guys. He didn't die. How many of these guys are even left? Brought to you by New Reno Arms. When you need to kill someone from a safe distance, come to New Reno Arms. This corner, the challenger waiting. Okay. The Masticator. Alright, someone that's actually similar weight to me. We'll see how this goes. Oh, you fool! You did not move as quickly as I did. He knocked himself out. And the winner is... He legitimately knocked himself out. Spine from the front, he's fine. Brought to you by Grass Touch, Grass Now. Let's actually wait till morning or something, I guess. I don't know. You're sweating a jar at home. Lovely. So I think... Boom. Alright. So I think we're spot world. There's some speaking of Laptop can actually bite your ear off. But he didn't. He lost in a very humiliating way. So yeah, we could probably... The one thing we can do is attach a blower to the car, but I forget where we go to get that. But in any case, we are already at... Let's see how much the AC is, even when we are out of movement. 63 still, but that's still ridiculously good. And then what is it like if I have the movement still? 87. Yeah, yep, that is... I mean, that's still not... I don't think that'll quite be enough to actually stop Frank from being able to hit us, but... Still pretty damn impressive, if I may say so. Okay, I think I remember now where we need to go. So we'll go there. So we're going into the NCR. Should be a vendor there that can upgrade our car. Let's wait till morning to see if we can find him. Because if we can, we're in business. And we'll just get the upgrade and make it back, and then we'll be good to go. Oh, I think it's this guy over here. Okay. So I'll save just in case we need to be high intelligence to actually get the upgrade, but if we don't, we're good to go. I don't think I've got a spare brain for you. Okay, let's actually talk to him. Blower named it Claudia. Alright, and we'll wait for 6 hours. All installed and good to go. Just to be safe, we'll give her 2 more hours. Just to be extra safe, and then we will call it. Because we've been at it for what? Over 2 hours now. Hey, this is 2D Fallout games better than, or 3D. So, are we talking overall? Because if we are, then I have to consider 76 and Fallout 4 added into the equation. And yeah, if you're going to have to include them as part of an average, and yeah, I would say that Fallout 1 and 2 raise the bar higher than what New Vegas does, or to a lesser degree 3. When they do raise the bar higher, and then you have to factor in that 76 and 4 are just not that good. So, do I have anything of note? I think we'll actually just call it here, to be honest, because we are at the perfect stopping point. We've been at it for long enough that we've made it to 224 unarmed. We can go ahead. We could potentially level up again if we really wanted, but that's a... Holy hell, we're not doing that! Oh no! That is a very cursed level up. I have never seen as cursed a level up. Alright, CA. Glad I could make you laugh a few times. That's good. Alright. Yep, we're going to go ahead and call it as soon as we make it back to the car, but I think we are ready to take on the final boss now. We've got ourselves 290 hit points, which isn't quite as much as I was expecting. I was hoping to actually get over 300 hit points, but we have, and we're not quite high enough, as high as I was expecting on unarmed, but only just barely. Because we only have 224% instead of 225%. But the AC class improvement is already good. We're going to be getting another AC improvement anyways. So I'm very happy with our loadout. And we have, of course, a Mega Power Fist and the other stuff we will need. So we're pretty much set. So I'm going to go ahead and call it here. So yeah, this has been Ace. I hope you have enjoyed watching me play some more Fallout 2 as much as I've enjoyed playing it. And I hope to see you all again soon. Until then, take care. Ace out.